We're going to do a piped seam now. For this we'll also need a bias strip, so I've chosen a spotty fabric, quite lightweight, got my selvage, and I'm putting my grader up to that edge to find my 45-degree angle. Then I can cut my strip with my rotary cutter. Now I've got this piping cord here. This cord you can get in various widths and qualities, and we're basically going to use our bias strip to wrap round and cover the cord. So I've worked out that if I need to wrap it round here and also have my seam allowance, I'm going to have to cut this strip 3 centimetres wide. I'll put my 3 centimetres against my first cut. I can then cut my strip. Okay, this just needs to be long enough for your seam. You can also use calico to make this bias strip if you've got no alternative fabric. So it's wide enough to wrap around the cord and still have enough seam allowance here. I'm going to just lay that cord onto my seam to see how long the piece needs to be. Okay, and cut it there. And as long as we've got enough for the length of our seam, we can trim that down a little bit too. We're going to sit the cord on the wrong side of our bias strip in the middle, and then we're going to wrap the fabric round like that. Now we need to stitch quite close in to enclose it between the 2 layers. So to do that, I'm going to change my foot to a zipper foot, which looks like that. Okay? If you just get your screwdriver and undo that screw a little bit, you don't have to take the screw all the way out. The foot will kind of slot out sideways. And then you can see this little cutout section here, that will sit under the screw. So you push it up, hold it in place and tighten the screw up. So now we're going to make our piping cord in the fabric of our choice. Okay, so if we sit it like that, you can see that I'm going to stitch along like that. You need to control it so that when we fold it, the edge meets, and then we can push the cord in to the edge like that. Just go slow. The cord, the bias strip will stretch out a little bit as well. Just let it do that as it goes under the foot. So we've made our own piping cord there. I'm just going to show you some examples of pre-made piping cord. So you can purchase piping cord pre-made. This is a kind of black velvet, just a red one. You can get it in different sizes and different widths. A vinyl piping cord, and then this one is like a double cord, so 2 sat on top of each other. Okay, so you can purchase these things pre-made, but you can't always get exactly what you want for your design, so it's good to know how to make your own, which is what we've just done here. With the right side of my fabric facing uppermost, I'm going to sit the piping cord onto the edge of my seam and stitch down to attach it. So for the first row of stitching, you don't have to get exactly close in. Because it's got a little bit of stretch on it, try not to pull it too much because it'll make your seam pucker. And you want to keep the edge on the edge of your calico there, and you should have 1 centimetre from there to the edge as well, if you've made it the correct width. So I'm not going to back tack there because I'm going to do another row of stitching basically on top of it now. So this is the right side facing uppermost. I'm going to put my piece of calico on there on top to make the actual seam. And now we have to think about getting quite close into that piping. Okay, so the zipper foot allows us to get close in with that needle. The ordinary foot wouldn't let us do that. You can also get this type of foot, which is a piping foot. So you can see it's got a little bit section cut out there, and that would sit on top of that cord like that as you're stitching. Yeah, so that makes it easier, and you can buy these in different sizes as well. You wouldn't necessarily buy a piping foot unless you were doing a collection with lots of piping cord, as it's only got one purpose. So I'm stitching all the way down, just controlling these layers. Do a back tack at the bottom. I can trim all those threads now, so it's nice and neat. And your seam should look like that from the right side. So it's quite a decorative seam. So we're going to give this seam a press now. Because it's a round piping cord, I'm trying not to just press over the top of it, because that'll may flatten the cord out. This seam wants to sit in one direction, so to one side or the other side. You could also go and overlock that first if you wanted. So I'm almost pressing either side of it. To one side of the cord, and then the other side. So that's nice and round, and we've not flattened the cord out.